Hello, everyone. I'm Chesley44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, we spoke with a couple new people who have joined us. Nura Dendiwar, a bard who proceeded to tell us all about the World Wound and the last 4 Crusades, so we have a bit of history on our side, and Leotar Hawkblade, an inquisitor who wants it to try and figure out just what happened at what is it, Heaven's Edge? Something like that. Yeah, Heaven's Edge, which is related to Dayron, which we spoke with Dayron and he is willing to do that. Now, there is one more new person to speak with, and that's this Sociel.
Hello again. I'm very pleased to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
A young cleric stands before an easel, his brush hovering over the canvas without touching it. Instead of painting, the young man absent-mindedly gazes at the sky of Canabres, which is still streaked with towering plumes of black smoke. Finally, he notices you and smiles, shaking off his stupor.
It's a pity I wasn't there at the Grey Garrison to witness your feats of strength with my own eyes. The flash, however, could be seen miles and miles away. Some people were frightened of it, thinking that the demons had blown up the remains of the keep. I, for one, knew immediately that it was a good sign. The light above the city showed us that there was still hope.
So, who are you, and how could you possibly be of use to my army?
My name is Sociel Vainik. I am a cleric of Shaelin, the Eternal Rose and the Goddess of Beauty. Yes, I know that many people would consider me useless in a war. This is not a usual war, though. Just consider our enemy. The Abyss and his demons are the very embodiment of everything evil and ugly in the world. Perhaps a disciple of kindness and beauty might come in handy.
Maybe. I mean, we'll take any help we can get.
I have no doubt that we will win this war, Commander. We just have to. It is our destiny. My role is to help you, and all those standing by your side in this struggle, to survive and flourish. Everyone deserves the chance to find peace and happiness in the world that they are defending so selflessly.
So what are you painting? The cleric's eyes linger mournfully on the canvas. The unfinished painting depicts a temple crowned with a rainbow-tailed bird, the symbol of Shellen. 5 people dressed in robes stand before the temple. Men and women, young and old. They all gaze back at you with radiant happiness and joy in their serene eyes.
My brothers and sisters in faith. They sent me for help and then they saved my life, Commander. If the Prioress hadn't ordered me to escape the city and seek help, I would have died right along with them. Instead, I met Queen Galfrey on my way to Nerosian, and hurriedly returned to Canabres, only to find my friends dead on the steps of our desecrated temple.
How unfortunate.
I want to draw them the way they live on in my memory. Wise, beautiful, and loyal to their goddess and their city to the very end.
Sociel touches the edge of the canvas gently, as if patting a friend's shoulder in consolation. I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I will never forget that I owe them my life. Every minute of it, every breath that I take, is a gift they gave me. Now it's my duty to make sure my friends and tutors did not die in vain. I will honor their sacrifice by making this world a bit more beautiful and kind.
So what made an artist enlist in the army?
Perhaps I am a true artist, or simply an amateur who defaces canvases in my spare time.
Huh.
My goddess is a patron of art, so painting is part of my prayer, and I put all my heart into my pieces. But I am a cleric above all else, so I must also tend to others. I went to war because here's where I'm most needed. Sure, I could be painting idyllic landscapes and offering empty prayers to my goddess, but that won't stop people from dying. My goddess has no tolerance for false piety.
And you wanted to discuss something with me, right?
Yes, I have a personal request. Before we undertake our journey and leave Canabres behind, I would like to visit Martyr Zacharias' cemetery for a funeral. It's not far from here, and it's important. I would like to pay my respects to my friends from the Temple of Shaelin who died defending the city. Also, if it's not too much trouble, I would like you to come with me to honor their memory. Their friends and family will be at the funeral, and perhaps the commander's personal presence will bring them comfort.
Seems simple enough.
I know that you are burdened by many cares right now, so I understand if you can't find the time. But if you could, I would be sincerely grateful.
It was nice meeting you. Now I have to go.
You must be rather busy indeed. Leading a crusade all by yourself is no joke. I still believe that you are up to the task. This war has been raging for 100 years, but you've given us a chance at victory.
Let's see if he has anything else to say. Yes, tell me about yourself. To be honest, I don't have much to tell. I had done little with life until I met you, but if you want to know anything, just ask. Where are you from? From Andoran. I grew up on the outskirts of Carpenden, a large, rich city surrounded by gardens and vineyards. Just imagine, miles and miles of greenery and fragrant orchards. Sociel inhales with pleasure as if he could still sense the aromas of his faraway homeland. My family had a small winery. I worked there from a young age. I pressed juice, did a little carpentry, painted, and one day I discovered I could do more with paint than simply cover walls with it. There was a temple of Shellen nearby. My brother and I would often spend our days there, listening to music and enjoying the stained glass windows. As a boy, my brother decided to devote himself to serving the Eternal Rose. Our parents hoped that at least I would remain to run the family business, but... He makes an apologetic gesture and flashes a disarming smile. It can't be helped. The goddess called me too. It's alright, I have plenty of cousins, second cousins, and other relatives. When this war is over, I'll go back there and see how they're doing. So you're an artist? The cleric smiles shyly. That's too grand a word for it, but yes, I love to paint and I know how to. Of course, a crusade isn't the best place for art. What I managed to draw here is at best sketches. I hope when this war is over, I'll be able to turn them into real paintings. Fascinating. May I see your sketches? Oh, there's nothing special in them, but if you're really interested. Sociel hands you a folder filled with pencil sketches. You recognize familiar fighters in some of the portraits. The cleric drew them without flattery, just as they are. But beneath the features that seem boring and even ugly in life, Sociel's hand has found inner beauty, power, and dignity. The tired faces of soldiers covered with wrinkles and scars resemble an army of angels. There are landscapes in the folder as well. At first you don't understand why these blooming hills, shady groves, and shimmering springs seem so familiar. But you have passed by these places as you traveled around the Worldwound, though you saw them darkened and maimed by demonic influence. Sociel's pencil has restored them to their former beauty, which the demons stole from them, and which the Crusaders are fighting to return. Instead of working as a craftsman, you decided to serve a deity. An interesting turn of fate. Sociel nods with a smile. Some clerics are proud of their tender hands, which have never touched anything heavier than a brush. But there's nothing ugly about hard-earned calluses. Indeed, I should say that saving the world is easier with strong hands. The smile disappears from Sociel's face, and he looks down, adding, I'm sorry these hands couldn't save the people who died in Canabras. How did you end up in Canabras? A grim shadow falls over the cleric's face. I was hoping to find Trevor in the city. My brother. After my brother took his vows and was ordained a paladin of Shellen, he departed for the crusade. He wrote home often about everything he saw, his battles, the people he helped. From his letters, I learned that he had joined the Eagle Watch in Canabras, but soon his letters became infrequent, and then they stopped altogether. We feared news of his death, but silence was our only answer. Not a word from him, or from his command, or his brothers in arms. Nothing. In the end, I couldn't wait any longer, and I came here myself, to find Trevor if he's still alive, or his grave if he should have perished. But my brother seems to have vanished. I tried asking the other paladins, but they refused to talk to me, and it's very much like they're trying to avoid the need to lie. I sent official requests to their orders command. Still, I wait in vain for an answer. I joined the local church of Shellen, hoping to find out the truth one day, but the city was attacked by demons. When your brother was preparing to become a paladin of Shellen, did he learn some kind of art too? Yes, he's always been a good woodcarver. Toys, whistles, window frames. Our house was the most beautiful in the area, all dressed in his wooden filigree, from the railing on the stairs to the Wonderbird on the roof. You must love your brother very much to follow him here. Oh, you have no idea how much. I would follow him to the end of the world, into the abyss itself if need be. Trevor is an amazing man. I know he's alive. He's too stubborn to die. I hope one day he joins us, and then we will surely triumph. How did you end up at the court of Queen Galfrey? When the city was attacked by demons, there was a hospital in our church. Every one of us was prepared to fight to the last to cover the evacuation, but our Mother Superior wouldn't let me join the fight. She sent me for help, and everyone who stayed was killed. Why did she choose me? Maybe it was because I was new, the youngest and least experienced of the clerics, and I wouldn't be much help in battle. Or maybe she was giving me a chance to survive while the rest of them bravely died. Shellen be my witness, I did not ask for this. I would be honored to lay my own head next to theirs. I ran to the closest Mendavian garrison. I don't know by what miracle I got there. There were demons all around, and everything was on fire. I remember my horse was killed right under me while I fought off some shrieking monsters, but when I came to, I awoke among friends. My first thought was that it must be a dream. In my delirium, Queen Galfrey herself was dressing my wounds. But it was true. It was the queen herself tending to a lowly warrior. That's how I ended up in her army. I marched with them back to Canabras, to the ruins. How do you manage to always look like you're on your way to a tea party and not a battle? Sosiel looks down for a few moments, searching in silence for the right words. At last, he softly replies, "When I first got here, to the World Wound, you know the word terror doesn't convey half of what I felt. The land itself here is maimed and mutilated, desecrated. But more frightening still is what the war does to people, to their bodies and souls. For every knight in shining armor, there are 100 warriors whose souls are maimed with fear, suffering, and cruelty. Many have forgotten why we're here, and now know only war. When there's a break in the fighting, they drink themselves into oblivion and wallow in the mud. They're rotting alive and don't even seek help. They gave up on themselves a long time ago." Sosiel looks you in the face and you see pain in his eyes. "Don't misunderstand me, I don't condemn them. Quite the opposite. I want to help. And to do so, I must look after myself first. Not only to treat and support them, but to remind them that there's something else besides war. There's a normal world out there. A place where blood doesn't stain the ground and people don't sleep in trenches, and a place where, as you said, they even occasionally have tea parties." The cleric smiles, but his eyes seem sad. You do so much to help others. I want you to know whenever you yourself need support, you can count on me. Thanks for caring. I'm glad I now have a friend like you. I used to have no one to rely on besides my goddess. A shadow crosses Sosiel's face momentarily, but it's immediately replaced with an inspiring smile. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I promise I won't neglect myself. To serve others, I must have strength. What's a servant of the goddess of beauty doing in a war zone? I am doing what the goddess destined me for, to keep our fighters safe. I am confident in our victory. The gods of good are on our side, so we cannot fail. But victory is not enough. I do whatever I can to help those who are holding off the forces of the Abyss, so they may live long enough to see victory, without losing themselves along the way. Every one of our soldiers deserves a home where people love them and are waiting for their return. When our soldiers are finally able to go home, on that day I may earn the right to lay down my weapons forever. Thank you for telling me about yourself. Why don't you tell me about your brother? Trevor. He's always been my hero ever since we were children. I was a coward, always telling petty lies, always running from danger. Trevor always ran toward it. He had this saying, "An army stands until peace comes, a lie stands until the truth comes out." He never lied, never let injustice pass, never... He was 8 when he said he was going to be a paladin, and he always went toward that goal, day after day, never looking back. I still remember the day he went off to fight. I thought, this is it, the war will finally end. Trevor will defeat all the demons and close the World Wound. But... Sosiel gestures helplessly. Alright. Well, let's check all the buildings. It seems there's more things we'll be able to loot, which there definitely are. Ooh, a recipe. Glowing croissant. Yes, we can learn this. And, you go there. I don't know why you moved out of it. Weird. Yes, I know about that. That one's Desna. That's Sarenrae. I'm pretty sure I chose Sarenrae as my goddess. Wasn't that who I chose? Yes, I chose Sarenrae.
We do it my way.
Seems fair enough. Alright, let's keep looking around. Loot whatever hasn't been looted. We've spoken with Daeron. Some loot there, some loot here. Ooh, Forn Autumn Haze is here. The elf before you casually rests his bandaged arm on the weapon at his side. He bows his head with dignity. I congratulate you on your new rank, Commander. My hunt demanded that I travel with your army. Naturally, I won't burden your forces with the need to care for an outsider. I've provided myself with all the necessities. Alright, so he's here. So Camelia's not in the healing tent, fair enough. Oh, here's some...
There's
oh,
something here.
a couple things I can loot. May Canabras be damned. I spit on the streets of Canabras. I spit on its granite walls and its stained glass windows. If tomorrow the ground trembles, splits apart, and devours this cursed city, I will not shed one tear. No one here, not a single soul, deserves any compassion. Everyone who lives in this city is a criminal. If there were any justice in this world, every one of them would be hanging from the gallows. Prelate Holrun and Queen Galfrey chief among them. Ask anyone on the streets what they know of mongrels. The answer will be dumb silence or the lowered eyes of a scoundrel who knows their crimes but doesn't want to think about it. Mongrels. A disgusting nickname which the residents of the city have given to the brave Crusader heroes who defeated the forces of evil but paid for it with their health. Covered with scabs and tumors, bloated and gnarled, they were no longer beautiful enough to be tolerated by the very people they'd saved. As a reward for their heroism, the city dwellers exiled them to the sewers and damp caves beneath the city. The author of these words went down there and spoke with them, and I'll have you know that the ugliest of them is more noble than all the paladins of Mendev, not to mention that head-chopping prelate and his murderous queen. I mean, that's debatable for Wendy. And if any pretend that today's city dwellers aren't responsible for the crime of their grandfathers, then I will spit in their face, for the grandchildren of the exiled are still down there, crawling in the mud and eating garbage. And everyone who knows about this and does nothing, and everyone who should know but prefers blissful ignorance, I say they're all guilty and they repeat the same crime every day. And as long as this doesn't change, any citizen who desires to fight a demon should take a knife and stab themselves in the stomach, for your city is already rotted, and you are no better than the demons. And if anyone would repent and right this terrible wrong, they should turn their weapons on the prudish paladins who preach good but defend an order that flies in the face of justice. Down with the paladins, down with Prelate Holrun, down with Queen Galfrey. Well, someone's a little irritated. Another bit of loot.
Hello. So, what do you reckon about everything that's come crashing down on us? All the responsibility, command, this new power?
Seela looks anxious. She's honing her sword, but her movements seem nervous. The girl doesn't even notice you at first, but when she does, she smiles cheerlessly and stops what she's doing. I haven't figured it out yet. We'll see what happens next.
Watching and waiting is a good strategy. Probably. I'm still frightened by what happened in the Grey Garrison. Were we really chosen? By Iomedae herself? You know, back when I was a snot-nosed kid who just started down the path to becoming a paladin, I imagined once or twice that I was going to do something heroic. The lights would shine down on me, the trumpets would sing, I'd hear the voice of the goddess, or at least her herald, you know? I'd be informed that I had been chosen for a great cause. But that's the point where my imagination always failed me. Somehow, it really happened. Without all the trumpets or the herald or even anyone explaining what I had to do. Though it's clear as day, my place is here, in this demon-ridden wound. Quite a lovely war going on, in fact. Endless, I hear. I'm gonna need some time to wrap my head around this. Spare me an hour and I'll crawl into some dark corner and whine about my hard lot. What can I tell you? I cry easily.
Alright. Well, she does still see it as a gift from her goddess.
Follow
Which,
if you
fair enough.
dare.
Okay, we've already spoken with them. Camellia! So you're Horgus' daughter. You've discovered my most terrible secret. Father cares so much about the Gwyrm name that he raised me in our mansion, hiding me away from the whole world. I'll always be grateful to my father for everything he's done for me, even if Mendev society disapproves of some of his decisions. Would it be insolent of me to beg for your discretion regarding what you know about us? Camellia's words are polite, but her tone grows cold and sharp. Let us keep this as our little secret. I assure you my father and I appreciate loyalty and decency, for both myself and my father. I thank you for your understanding. I found another of interesting implements and accessories in the Gwyrm mansion. How kind of you to share that you've gone through the Gwyrm's dirty laundry and drawn some bizarre conclusions. If you value my company, please refrain from making such insinuations in the future. What do you think of the powers you received from me? Camellia shrugs nonchalantly. People of noble descent grow accustomed to ample opportunity. The powers I receive from you are useful, but I see no point in treating them with excessive piety. Okay then. Woljif? Hey, Chief, want to talk? What do you think of my new powers? Woljif pauses to think, rubbing his chin. You mean what you did back there? I have a few ideas. We could send you to a Pitax underground arena to fight, give you a scary name like Swift Sting or something like that. Give you a great cover story. Enemies burn down your house, you're avenging your dead family, the public eats that stuff up. You'll wear a shiny eye-catching outfit, or a black one if you like black better. We'll split the prize money 60-40. 60 for me, of course. You know, arranging fights isn't easy. Those people are tough, I'll be taking more risks than you. And after we get set up in Pitax, we'll tour different cities, make some real money. What, you don't like the sound of it? Do you have any other suggestions? Woljif grins, his yellow eyes lighting up. I got one more. Have you heard of Razmaran? It's some land in the River Kingdoms ruled by a King Razmir. A friend of mine used to live in Razmaran. He got out of there as fast as he could. Long story short, this King Razmir of theirs is a god. He keeps his people under his heel. They're all terrified of what he might do. He sits on his throne wearing some white mask, giving power to anyone. Come and take power from me, he says, so long as you believe in me. Woljif quickly checks if no one is eavesdropping. That friend of mine, the one who fled, he has a half-sister on his old man's side. He's a cook in the castle, and a washerwoman who the cook plays cards with in the evenings told her a juicy rumor. Word is, Razmir isn't a real god at all, and he's got no powers. So here's my point. You do have powers. Pretty scary ones, too. We'll find some shabby little kingdom. I'll start some rumors. You'll show off a few tricks to wow the locals, and that's it. We'll make you a deity. But first, I want you to put in writing that I'll be your chief advisor. I'm not doing anything just on the nod. I've been there. People promise you mountains of gold, and then when it comes to it, they're all, get lost, or I'll set the dogs on you. So do you like the idea? It's an interesting idea, but I need to think about it. Yeah, sure thing, think about it. Just call me if you need me, we'll discuss it. Alright. Mysterious elf. Damn it, you again, soldier. The hell? Let's see. I saw you talking to the girl hiding her face. Who was she and what did she want? I don't know, Commander. She never introduced herself, but I bet she's not a part of our army. I know all our soldiers by name and by sight. Wilser frowns gloomily, his cordiality gone in an instant. She was looking for some elf volunteer. Wanted to know which tent he was sleeping in. At first I thought she was a messenger from Mendev. She definitely wasn't one of us. But now I see how it all looks mighty shifty. The quartermaster eyes you with concern. She was some sort of spy then. Your supply would do any wine shop proud. Does the crusade really need this much alcohol? Wilser smiles shyly. Don't think I'm trying to encourage drunkenness among our crusaders. It's all in good fun, a way to blow off some steam. When soldiers can gather by the fire and raise a cup to honor both the living and the dead, it reminds them that life goes on. But those who drink to excess or to the detriment of their duties won't get a drop from me. There's no sight more depressing than a drunkard. Alright then. Horgus, anything to say? Horgus Squirm has been expecting you, thumb stuck in his belt. Oh, there you are. I've been waiting. As you see, I too have joined the crusade. I don't know how to swing the sword, but war is costly and I have money. Besides, my intellect and business sense may prove useful even on the battlefield. Besides, I believe I owe you an apology. The way I behaved was rude, ill-mannered. You are an honest and honorable person. You have clawed your way up from the bottom of society to the title of Knight Commander, and you are friends with Queen Galfrey herself. Such persistence deserves respect. Horgus tilts his head in a brief acknowledgement of your merits. Please allow me to give you this magic amulet from my humble personal treasury, to mark our future cooperation. What's it like to live your entire life under someone else's name? When I was a boy, I used to hate Horgus. The condescension, most of all. The pity on his face. His smile... Oh, wait. Yeah, we've already heard some of this. Why have you decided to support the Crusades now? With all due respect, that's none of your business. I have my reasons. Perhaps I felt a rush of patriotism when Canabras was destroyed. Anyway, why would you think I never supported the Crusaders? Perhaps I simply don't like to brag about my donations. Ostentatious charity only attracts beggars. I'd wager that Irabeth had no idea whose money she's spending on drinks and supplies. What can you tell me about Count Daer and Arende? The nobles of Canabras should be acquainted with each other, shouldn't they? He is a brilliant young man with a brilliant pedigree, and that's the story of his. The nobility is the glue that keeps our society together. I suppose that is why the demons so often chose their estates as primary targets. Who would notice the demons' bloody massacres if they only slaughtered poor country folk? The Arende family shared the tragic plight of the Worms. Along with many other members of the nobility, they fell victim to a treacherous attack during a major celebration taking place at their family estate. I hadn't received an invitation, and was slightly insulted by the snub, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. The gods saved me from a terrible fate. All the guests died that day from a magical demonic disease. I sympathized with the Count deeply. He has endured so much, and it's no wonder he keeps himself aloof from me. I think this is due to the fact that Horgus Worm's fate so resembles his own, and we both have to relive those horrible memories whenever we see each other. Alright. We've already spoken with him about those things. Helor! You've earned the title of Commander. Canabras still stands thanks to you. But you'll have to be doubly on your guard. Your Eminence places a target on your back, and there are assassins about. Killing a high-ranking crusader would bring a demon far more prestige than killing a common soldier. Not long ago, I stymied a few of the Spinner of Nightmares' attempts on the lives of influential crusaders, so I know what I'm talking about. Which ones did you save from the Spinner of Nightmares? I'd been hunting the Spinner of Nightmares for over a year. My agents, by that time I'd created a proper network, reported to me that she'd returned to Nerosium. I immediately suspected that she was planning a great atrocity. By that time, I'd learned all too well that the Spinner was a master of illusions and charms. That's why I never left the house without this. Helor takes a monocle from his pocket and puts it on carefully. This is the Eye of Truth. It allows me to see through illusions. My friend got it from the priests of Nethys. However, neither this monocle nor my network of agents were adequate to prevent the attacks, and we were nearly too late. The Spinner of Nightmares decided to strike at the Cruciform Cathedral. They had gathered to celebrate the victory of the First Crusade. It was a great holiday, and there was a lavish ceremony at the cathedral. An influential priest, Anthoclitus, was in charge of the festivities. They were intending to crown him with a tiara, a symbol of his high status, but the sacred tiara had been replaced. The Spinner had obtained an Incutulus, a sentient and rather ominous cephalopod from the other end of the world. She'd raised it from an elver and trained it carefully, and she cast an illusion on it so that everyone would see it as a tiara. The moment its shell was placed on Anthoclitus's head, the cephalopod would release its tentacles and penetrate the priest's skull. Its poison would seep into his brain, and it would seize control over Anthoclitus's dead body. Fortunately, we were able to stop this madness in time. I spotted the Spinner of Nightmares in the crowd, chased her down, and we ended up crossing swords on the roof of the cathedral. I nearly defeated her, but she fled upon a giant stallion, which was able to run across the air as if it were on the ground. I was so close to catching her. She'd suffered a setback, but I let her escape. Halor's bitter and angry smile shows he hasn't made peace with his failure. Alright. Lan, anything to say? What do you think of what happened in the Grey Garrison? Did you feel a change in yourself? Oh, it's hard not to notice when the demons start running away from you like a flock of frightened bats. Powers granted by Iomedae to defeat demons. Lan raises his hand above his head and pensively scratches behind a single horn. Since I was a kid, I've taken whatever I've been given and used it as best I can. Anything goes when you're trying to survive. It doesn't matter where your blessings come from. We can think about that when we're old, if we live that long. But you know, this time even I'm not so sure. A divine power that just appears out of nowhere. Sooner or later we'll have to pay for it. I'd like to know what the price will be. Good question. Let's see. Up here. Hello, Nenio. Ah, girl, there you are. Very good, just in time. You will be delighted to know that I need you for an experiment. So the Grey Garrison stands roofless. Demons are running for the hills with their tails between their legs. Mendev's queen... what's her name? It's on the tip of my... Ah, yes, Galfrey is scurrying to and fro, and all this is somehow connected to you, my loyal follower. Thus far, there is no scientific evidence of your exceptionality if one discounts blind faith and divine intervention, which I do. We, people of science, refuse to believe in the inexplicable without any proof. We are the ones who explain the inexplicable. And therefore, open your mouth and say, ah, for me. Why? Well, isn't it obvious? I am going to study you. Come along, don't stand in the way of science. What does my mouth have to do with my new abilities? Perhaps there is no connection, or perhaps there is a direct connection. We'll never know unless we try to find out. Ah. Nenio peers into your mouth with a practiced eye. Alright, your throat's fine, tongue looks perfectly normal, your breath... The smell is in line with the regular functioning of the digestive system. Now for your teeth. Did you just say my breath smell? She sticks one hand in your mouth and probes each of your teeth in turn with the skill of a seasoned dentist. No detectable alterations. By the way, did you know that many individuals, while being wholly civilized representatives of their races, still have an amazingly powerful bite? As if suddenly recalling something, Nenio promptly pulls her hand out of your mouth. With teeth like mine, I should know. Nenio casts a puzzled glance at you, but then quickly nods. Ah, yes, you're a kitsune. Field research has shown that kitsune bites take much longer to heal than the bites of many other races. Moving on. Alright, what do we have next? Ears. Let's check your hearing. Testing! Nenio yells right in your ear and nods in satisfaction as she observes your reaction. Your hearing is fine. Was fine. But don't worry, it's scientifically proven that it should return to normal soon. Next. Eyes are clear, posture is satisfactory, limb length is standard, no lice. She stops, rubs her chin in contemplation, and in a slightly dejected tone says, Girl, you are the picture of health. It's a pity, I was expecting to find some anomaly. Well, now let's assess your mental state. Imagine a hypothetical situation. You are a tree. 2 squirrels have found their way into your hollow and are now copulating there. What do you do? What? I do precisely nothing, because I'm a tree. An unconscious act of withdrawal along with a lack of trust in your own abilities. Or perhaps just a healthy dose of pragmatism. On to the next question. Another hypothetical situation. You are a tomato. You have just been picked from a vegetable patch and put into a crate. You know that today the cook will use half the tomatoes from your crate to make soup. What do you do? What is this nonsense? This nonsense, as you call it, is a unique methodology for detecting secret tendencies hidden in one's subconscious. It was developed by the greatest scientists of modern times. Now focus on the task at hand, if you please. There's nothing I can do. I'm a tomato, remember? An unconscious act of withdrawal. Inability or unwillingness to see something bigger behind something small. Alright, I understand. On the surface, it appears you don't really believe in your ability to change things. But in fact, you are a strong pragmatist who knows perfectly well what you can and can't do. Your reasoning is that of a mortal, one who is capable of achieving a great deal, though she would deny even that. On that note, I deem this experiment complete. Thank you for your participation. And yet you remain a puzzle to me. Oh, I love puzzles. One of these days I will solve you completely. Unless I forget. Okay, then. Interesting. Let's see. I believe we have... Okay, loot there. Ember, anything? Ember is bobbing her head and humming a tune. She greets you with a carefree, cheerful smile. Her wandering eyes linger on you for just a moment before darting off again into the distance. How are you handling your new abilities? Abilities? What are you talking about? Oh, the tricks you learned when the big gray house blew up? They're funny. Thanks for teaching them to me. The Queen gave me the title of Knight Commander and put me in charge of an army. What do you think about that? The elf focuses her wandering gaze on your eyes, smiles, and shakes her head. Don't believe your titles. All of us in the world are children on the street. Barefoot, hungry, scared, a step away from death. Some imagine they're strong and rich like gods, but don't forget who you really are behind the title. Okay then. And I think the only one left is Ulbrig. The last one we have to speak to. So, you're the war chief now. You're going to lead us to free Sarkoris from those Fae. Ulbrig nods his head with respect. I felt at the moment I saw you, this one is special. But that you'd go and get yourself a whole army in no time. That I did not expect. Well, how does your newfound power feel? Has it gone to your head yet? We're going to fight demons, not Fae. Fae, demons, angels. Ulbrig screws up his face and waves his hand in front of it like he's trying to get rid of a foul smell. They're all the same spooks. They could have stayed in their magic forest happy as a pig in mud. But no, they had to poke their funny heads into the mortal world. Hold on, don't change the subject, eh? What do you think about being war chief? It's an odd feeling. So many people are counting on me. I can't let them down. Yes, it's a scary thing to be responsible for others. Especially when you're not out picking mushrooms. You're taking them to war. Even if you win, some of them surely won't make it back home. And you're the one who has to bear the burden. Ulbrig runs his hand over his beard and shakes his head in thought. But I know you'll do just fine, and not because I've seen you in battle. Although you are worth a whole band of warriors in a fight. I know you'll make a fine war chief, because you're not thinking about power or honors. You're concerned about the people in your charge. As long as you hold on to that, you have nothing to fear. Well, I didn't come here just to flap my guns. Since I'm going to war and you're in charge, I'd better do this the right way. Ulbrig lowers his head and says solemnly, My blade and my life are yours, war chief. I mean, it's not like I need a blade. My talons and beak will do the trick. But saying it like that is the done thing. My talons and beak are yours, just doesn't have the same ring to it. There's something else. I can already see things are bad, but the tales of all of Sarkoris burning down and his people dying out... I'm sorry, I don't believe those. It can't be true. We're not the kind of folks to be snuffed out just like that. I have kin in a village not far from here, Current Glen. Let's go there and talk to them, have them fill us in. They're smart folks, perhaps they'll help us in battle too. Together we'll clean up Sarkoris before you can say, Aroint ye foul creatures! Ulbrig bumps his fist in his palm with a chuckle of bravado. Alright, I'll go prepare for the road ahead. Take care, War Chief. What do you think of your new powers? I don't like them. Can't deny that they're useful, but this is the way of things. I'm accustomed to every power must have a name. The powers that druids and shifters have are fair. Gods and spirits grant them to us, and only for good reason. First you have to earn your power, prove you're worthy of it, show you're grateful for it, then you can start using it. But this? Who gave it to us? For what purpose? What do we have to give in return? It's one mystery after another. I'll up and tell you what I think. This power feels a lot like ensorcely. In our lands, people could get sent to Threshold for toying with powers like these, for everyone's safety. Alright then. Well, I think that's about all I have to loot and deal with. I am going to quickly sell this loot and end this episode here, because it has gone on long enough. So... Oh, right. Amulet of Blackened Mirror. Whenever the wearer of this amulet uses a hex, the DC of the saving throw against it is increased by 1. Which is actually good. I know who I will give that to. Right now, in fact. Anyway, I am going to end this episode here. Next episode, we finally head out. And I already know what we're going to be doing because there are some nearby side quests we can do. But that'll be in the next episode. So until then, I am Chester44, also known as Falai. That is me. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. And I shall see you all next time.